Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to Thursday, April 8th. And we're getting close to closing up the week, but we don't have much in the way of earnings yet. They really won't really hit until next week is what I'm looking at right now. And so we'll see the first banks come out next Wednesday. But we do have jobs coming out today. We'll talk about that and more with Dave coming up next. But before we do, please let me remind you, there's only one thing that any of us can control within our portfolio, and that's how much risk you have. And the issue I've seen is that folks don't understand risk and they don't understand how much risk they really have in their portfolio. And I'll tell you, it's not an easy thing to determine what that risk looks like. That's why we developed our financial x-ray, an opportunity to really determine how much risk you do have in your current portfolio. Give us a call, 863-382-0037 to determine if you have enough risk or if you have too much risk. Again, 863-382-0037. Dave's next. We'll talk about jobs and more coming up next.
Timber. Good morning. I am Morning Dave. It's 8:40 now, 20 before 9. Time to check in on your money and see what's going on nationally and internationally. We got some news as well today. Let's head downtown. Offices of Statler Financial Services in downtown Sebring. Phillip Statler is standing by. Phillip, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Dave. Doing well this morning. This week's about over. So, and there's not much in the way of earnings. And we got a couple today, but I was looking ahead. And it looks like next Wednesday is bank day. I mean, we got Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, I think JP Morgan will all report next Wednesday before the market opens up. And then the week after that, the floodgates open.
Okay, we knew it was coming soon, but I was flippantly saying yesterday, ever since everybody used to hold their earnings until Alcoa reported. When Alcoa was in the Dow 30, then the floodgates started. So all we needed to do was find out when Alcoa was going to be making their announcement. And ever since they got bumped out of the Dow 30, there really hasn't been a traditional leader in earnings season. But we are 8 days into the new quarter, and it was about time. So we can get to those in a couple of seconds. We start out with some not necessarily good news. Thursday is the day in which the federal government always releases unemployment claims numbers. And while we don't have the continuing number quite yet, or at least didn't before we went on the air, initial claims were a bit of a disappointment. Wrong direction and a miss, 744,000 first-time claims last week. And I was expecting that to improve with Texas starting to get back into service again.
Yeah, we were expecting it to improve, and it was a big miss because depending upon whose numbers you look at, but it's somewhere between 680 and 695,000 was what was expected, and to come in at 744 was a big miss. And I think even worse than that, Dave, is it's more than what it was last week.
It was an increase as well of 16,000 over last week, which, like I said, wrong direction and a miss.
It was. And I just have continuing claims just hit my blotter. And it's down by, I don't know, 20,000 maybe. It's they from 3.75 million to 3.73 million.
Still a miss then, because my numbers had it expected about 3.65 million continuing claims. So at least it's going in the right direction, but it's still a miss.
Yeah, definitely a miss from that standpoint. I didn't have a number expected, but so what's that really doing to us this morning? Well, it's putting a little pressure on the futures. Not drastic, but they have fallen off of where they were earlier.
I did notice that the bond prices were going down by a little bit. The bond rates were going down by a little bit, which means people are buying them, which is an indication that at least a few investors are going to safety to see what happens during the day in reaction to that.
And that could be. I mean, I've got it basically even right now, but that's always a possibility. But we're still seeing a lot of green other than the Dow across the indexes.
And speaking of green, we had a good day yesterday. The Dow and, let's see, I'm going back to where I was here. There we go. Yesterday, the Dow was up by 16. NASDAQ was down by 10, but again, they're in nosebleed territory and under some pressure. Standard & Poor's was up by 6, and we actually had an intraday high in that index yesterday, didn't we?
We did, and so that was some good news there. It got as high as $4,086 yesterday, so a nice little bump. They are, we got to be happy with what we're seeing across the board when it comes to the indexes right now.
And you noticed something as well, that even over in France, that they're starting to recover and looking at some record highs too, right?
We had a couple, actually. Yeah, the S&P 500 wasn't the only one. Worldwide, we actually had in Europe, the stocks, that's the STOXX index, was hit an all-time high at $436. And then France's CAC 40 hit the highest level it's been since the year 2000. So a lot of things worldwide in the market seem to be doing well.
A little bit of optimism, and I'm noticing that France is up even a little bit over that high today. So, yeah, we've got some optimism in the world. Things aren't moving as fast as we'd like them to, but at the very least, there's some optimism. I know you've been monitoring the small stock index, too. Did they recover at all yesterday?
You know, I don't have yesterday. Well, I do have yesterday's number. I just got to go to the right place to find it. It is, yeah, it is, because it's up some even today.
Good. Glad to hear it. I mean, given the fact that we always say the unemployment numbers week by week, they're data points, and overreacting to it is not what we have in mind. It looks like the indexes aren't overreacting today. Have we got some information as far as the companies that are coming out? You mentioned you got one food and one beverage company to talk about to break the glass on earnings season today.
We do. We've got a couple coming out. So we got ConAgra brands. That's the I always thought they were like agricultural, but digging down a little bit, it's Duncan Hines, Bird's Eye, Healthy Choice. So some brands we all use. They came in at 59 cents a share, which was a penny above expectations. Revenue was above forecast as well. And so some good information there. They're basically flat. I mean, they're up 0.1% this morning, nothing earth shattering. And then the other one we had earnings on was Constellation Brands, the maker of Corona beer and various spirits and liquor brands. So they beat both on top and bottom line. Didn't have the exact number, but good news for them, though they are getting hammered a little bit this morning, down almost 3%.
Well, their flagship beer brand certainly is not exactly a favored term right now, is it?
Well, that's true. That's true. They maybe should have changed the virus name to help the Corona beer do a little better.
Absolutely, but I mean, that they're selling it. I've always, like I said, food and beverage for the year we've been through, home food preparation data, and liquor and beer. That sounds like the two primary food groups for the last year.
Yep, you're right. It does definitely sound that way. And then the other, I don't have an earnings, it hasn't come out yet, but Costco did come out with some financial information in terms of sales, and they came out and said their same store sales for March were up 16% across the board. Here in the United States, it was up almost 14%. So that was good news. And then their online sales year over year up over 57%. And that's that good news is helping them a little bit, up about 0.7% this morning.
A 57% year-over-year increase. That's absolutely staggering, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's online sales. That's the way everybody kind of had to move.
It kind of tells you how we're starting to move as a retail market of late. Resetting the table for the morning. Up day on Wall Street on balance yesterday. Dow and the S&P both up. S&P with an intraday record. NASDAQ, well, for all intents and purposes, flat, only down 9.5 points. 45 minutes before we open this morning, Phillip, off some not-so-hot retail or some not-so-hot job news. How are we doing so far?
Hey, it's still looking pretty good, Dave. We got the Dow is the only thing in the red right now, and it's down less than 0.1%, like $25. We have the S&P 500 up 0.3%, the NASDAQ up almost 0.9%, and the Russell 2000 up 0.6%. So everything other than Dow in green territory this morning. we shift our look at the commodities, and we've got gold and silver both up. Silver up 0.75%, gold up 1/3, and then crude oil heading down this morning, a little less than where it was yesterday, down 0.25% to $59.63 a barrel.
Happy to keep it under 60, and it looks like we're starting to establish a trading range, which I'd be happy to see for a few months. Overseas markets, Asia generally up overnight last night. A little bit of a loss on the Japanese markets, but nothing really worth mentioning. European markets generally up. Need to mention the French markets since we mentioned a new record yesterday for the last 20-odd years. They're up by almost 0.5% even this morning, midway through their trading day. Phillip, it's time to look at one's retirement virtually any time. In the 40s, got one strategy. In the 60s, you got a completely different one. How do I get a hold of you to get some help with those strategies?
David, give us a call at 863-382-0037. They can also go to our website, statlerfinancial.com. Under the events tab, we have a workshop coming up next Tuesday. Great opportunity to get together face-to-face, get some good information. They can go to our website under the events tab. They can also go to our Facebook page, Dave, Statler Financial Services. We have an events tab there that they can go to and register. And then catch us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 730.
Hey, and back here again tomorrow morning as well to finish off the week. Phillip, thank you so much. We'll catch you then, all right?
All right, man. You have a great day.
Thank you, sir. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler.
Folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today as we kind of get ready to wind down things. And even though we're earnings season, there's not much out there. We do have a few, I think, will pop up again tomorrow. A few economic numbers come out tomorrow. So I hope you'll join us again tomorrow morning or here on Facebook and LinkedIn, where you can get up-to-date information on what's happening in the marketplace. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye now.